Fox News has got this theory that it turns out that there's Christian cleansing in the armed forces. Really? Wow. Well, I want to hear Sean Hannity and his expert guest tell me all about it.
The Christianity of service members is now coming under attack by the Obama administration.
The Obama administration, under the Obama administration, we have seen a Christian cleansing of the United States military. Dozens and dozens of instances of Christianity under attack. The Air Force today issued a statement to me, and I want to read this. They say that proselytizing, inducing someone to convert to one's faith, goes over the line. It is not allowed.
And the statement reads in part, religious proselytizing is not permitted within the Department of Defense. Court-martials and non-judicial punishments are decided on a case-by-case basis.
One thing is very clear, that under this administration, we have seen the Christian faith come under a significant attack.
Now, when I first saw that, I said, get out of here, Christian cleansing in the armed forces. But it turns out it's true. We've at least found one case of it. It's Sergeant First Class Naida Hosan. Now, she's a Catholic, and she has been removed, at least temporarily, from the armed forces. I'll tell you all about it. She was in the Army's 82nd Airborne Division, and she had reported for basic training 2 months before 9/11, so very patriotic. And she was recommended for promotion for her superiors, and she was actually rated as superior in her performance. That sounds terrific. So what happened? They obviously found out that she was Catholic and cleansed her, right? Well, not exactly. Turns out the people she served with thought her name sounded too Muslim. So they started calling her Sergeant Hussein. Keep in mind, she is not in fact Muslim. They also said that she was a Muslim sympathizer. And then it got worse, because then her superior officers got in on the act. When she complained about this behavior, they had a command-directed mental health evaluation done of her, as if there was something wrong with her. No, there's something wrong with you guys. She's not Muslim. And if she was, it wouldn't be a problem, or it shouldn't be a problem, but apparently, obviously, it would be. And then it got even worse. They involuntarily ended her military career, and they barred her from reenlistment for ineffective leadership. When in reality, of course, none of the earlier reports had noted that at all. They cleansed her. She is Christian, but not because she's Christian, because they thought she might be Muslim. Now, it got so bad, she wound up changing her name to Naida Christian Nova. She put Christian in the name, right? But now, look, let's be fair. Now, her parents are foreigners. They came from the very dangerous place called Trinidad. And her mom is from the Philippines. She was, of course, Catholic. Her father, now we're on to something, Roy Hussein originally, was born in India. Well, of course, India's in the middle of the East, so that's a problem, except for the fact that it's not. But now, finally, we do have one thing. Her father initially was born Muslim. Now, he converted to Catholicism when he married her mom before she was even born. So the entire time she's been alive, she's been 100% Catholic, but not good enough, not good enough. Now, as I tell you the rest of the story, you have to understand that all of this is confirmed and corroborated in an affidavit by a friend of hers, Sharon Deborah Sheets. She said that she experienced all of this through her, and Nadia told her about it at the time, and so it is confirmed, at least in that sense. Now, she'd been complaining to her superiors that everybody's doing anti-Muslim jokes, and she keeps saying, as if, like it's that scene out of Zoolander. She's like, am I the one that took the crazy pill? Why does everybody keep calling me Muslim? And what would be wrong with that if I was? And as people kept making racist jokes about Muslims, calling her a Haji, etc., when she objected to her supervisors, they told her, stop making trouble. Amazing. And then she explains, my complaints fell on deaf ears every time. Anytime I would say anything about it, I was treated like I didn't know what I was talking about, or that I'm an idiot, or that I was a Muslim sympathizer. It was just a very lonely feeling. And that's really sad, obviously, because, you know, they're supposed to have her back. And instead, they're throwing her under the bus constantly. Now, she would say, look, they made so much fun of me as a Muslim, I started standing up for Muslims. That's a good thing, but apparently not in the armed forces, or at least in this particular branch. She says, I would stand up for what I thought was right and say, not all terrorists are Muslims, and not all Muslims are terrorists. That just opened the door for more harassment. Now, one more line here, which I think is more telling of the armed forces than anything that particularly happened to Nadia. She said, when her commanding officers took the side of the people who were harassing her, she said, in writing, the referral said my values were not in line with the mission. They considered me a Muslim sympathizer, that I was too loyal to the Muslims. Now, wait a minute. Remember the whole point. You know, she served in Iraq, Afghanistan. Remember, she signed up right after 9/11. The point of going to Iraq was to liberate Iraq. We were supposed to be helping the Muslims that live in Iraq. But we forgot all about that. Instantly, all the Muslims, which is pretty much everybody in Iraq, became the enemy. Look at the mindset within the armed forces. Now, keep in mind, this is the same armed forces those lunatics on Fox News believe are doing Christian cleansing. They're apparently too friendly to Muslims and other religions and not friendly enough to the Christians. I mean, again, there's the irony here that, in fact, she was Christian and they did cleanse her. And she finally said, look, I was told, Sergeant Nova, you can't bring your religion to work. For Christ's sake, her religion is Christianity. And she says, it's horrible to feel like people are against you when you're supposed to be on the same team. And I think that's exactly right. And then so when they finally kicked her out, she couldn't take it anymore. She went through all the different processes to get back in through the armed forces. And when that didn't work, she filed a suit in federal court. And you know what happened? The armed forces panicked because she had all the evidence on her side. And they said, okay, all right, no, we didn't mean it. You're back in, no problem. And that all the disciplinary action against her was, quote, completely off the table. And believe it or not, Nadia actually re-enlisted in the Army on April 8th. Despite all of this abuse, she's back because she wants to serve her country. See, that's a patriot. That's a real American. But unfortunately, based on her name alone, look at how they ostracized her. And understand how absurd it is when Sean Hannity and they're like pretend that our armed forces are too hostile to Christians and are too friendly to the other religions. That is so insane, and as you can tell from this example.